Now, we all love a good fun fold, right? Well, especially when they're quick and easy. So today I have a few more easy fun fold card ideas to share with you that I'm pretty sure you're gonna love. Hi, it's Lynn Dunn from Stamptastic Designs. Thanks so much for joining me today. In this episode of Stamptastic TV, you will learn how to make a bridge fold card. And I'm going to show you two different ways in which you can create it. Now, this card actually stands up on its own, and that's pretty super cool, but you will be even more excited to learn that it folds down flat and fits nicely into an envelope for mailing. By the end of this video, you will have two easy and pretty unique fun fold cards that you can make with any supplies you have on hand. For the latest card making ideas, be sure to subscribe to my channel and click on that little bell so you'll be notified each time I upload a new video. Now, the cards in this video feature a variety of Saleabration products such as the Stampin' Up! Lovely Lily Pad stamp set, the Lily Pad dies, and the Lily Impressions Designer Series paper. However, keep in mind you can use any supplies you have on hand to create these cards. Just get creative with it. For a complete list of supplies and all of the step-by-step instructions for these cards, feel free to download the printable tutorial. You can find the link in the description below this video. Okay, so for this first card, I'm going to show you the basic concept for creating a bridge fold card. So we're going to start with a piece of Pretty Peacock Cardstock cut at 5.5 by 8 inches. We're going to score the 8-inch side at 1 1/4, 2 1/2, 5 1/2, and 6 3/4. This will become the base of the card. Next, you want to take that piece of cardstock and lay it in front of you. Fold the 2 1/2 and 5 1/2 inch score lines towards each other so that they meet in the center of the card base. Actually, they'll overlap. Next, fold on the 1 1/4 and 6 3/4 inch score lines. Now you'll be folding these sections away from each other. So you will end up with a folded piece of cardstock that actually resembles kind of a U shape when you look at it from the side. Now from the top, the card base almost looks like a little shadow box. So we're going to start by decorating the little 1 1/4 inch flaps on the base of the card. So cut two pieces of your favorite pattern paper at 1 by 5 1/4 inches. Adhere one piece to each of the front flaps on the card base. Next, cut a 2 3/4 by 5 1/4 inch piece of white cardstock. Stamp a sentiment on the top part of the white cardstock using Pretty Peacock ink. Now you can use any stamp set you have on hand. For this card, I used some of the sentiments from the Friend Like You stamp set from Stampin' Up. Then go ahead and adhere the entire piece of white cardstock to the middle section of the card base in between those two fun fold flaps. Stamp the large lily pad image on a scrap piece of Pretty Peacock cardstock using Pretty Peacock ink. Cut out the image with the coordinating die and adhere it to the bottom of the white cardstock piece with a few dimensionals. So next we're ready to create the bridge for our fun fold card. So cut a 1 1/4 by 5 1/2 inch piece of Pretty Peacock cardstock. Cut a 1 by 5 1/4 inch piece of pattern paper and adhere it to this cardstock piece. Then cut out a little decorative white piece using one of the lily pad dies from the set. Now I cut the decorative piece in between the 3rd and 4th teardrop shape, and I adhered the small piece to the left-hand side of the bridge, and then I adhered the other decorative piece off the right-hand side of the card. So you'll notice there's a space in between, but don't worry, we're going to cover that up with a little lily. So next we're going to adhere each end of the bridge to each end of the two fun fold flaps, just above that lily pad image that's on our white cardstock. So I'm using liquid glue for this because it gives me the ability to just kind of move that bridge around and reposition it. So add just a little bit of liquid glue, about 1 inch from each of the ends of that bridge. And then we're going to line up each of the 1 1/4 inch edges of the bridge with each of the fun fold flap edges. Once the bridge is in place, then we're ready to finish decorating the card. So stamp the large lily image on a piece of Grapefruit Grove cardstock using Grapefruit Grove ink. Cut out the image with the coordinating die and adhere it to the space on the front of that bridge with a few dimensionals. Now, just a little tip for you, be sure to add the dimensionals to the bridge itself, not to the lily. This will just make it easier to adhere the image to that bridge. And that's it. Now you have created a bridge fold card. And you can shift the bridge fold to the right or to the left. That way it will lay flat for mailing. So how cool is that? Okay, now that you know how to create a bridge card, I'm going to show you how to add a little slider section. So you're going to create the base of the bridge card in the same way that I just shared. However, before you add that bridge, you need to create a pocket and a little slider section. So here's what we need to do. Cut a 2 3/4 by 3-inch piece of cardstock and adhere it to the bottom section of the inside of the card base. So I'm going to test it first just to make sure that it's not too snug in that section. If it's too snug, then I'm just going to cut off about a 1/16 of an inch so that it's just slightly smaller than 3 inches. Now we're going to add a very small amount of liquid glue to the left, right, and bottom edges of this piece of cardstock. So we're going to leave the top of this piece open so that we have a little pocket that we can slide our tag into. So once you've added all the glue, adhere that little piece to the inside section of the card. Now while that's drying, you can go ahead and cut a 2 by 5-inch piece of white cardstock. You can use a tag topper or just punch a small hole in the top of this piece of cardstock. Add a bit of ribbon or twine through the hole to create a little tag. Stamp a sentiment on the top part of the tag using Pretty Peacock ink, and then you can go ahead and tuck that tag into the little pocket that you made in the middle of the card base. So now you have a tag that will move in and out of the card so that you can write a personalized message and sign your card when you're ready to send it. Okay, now let's finish decorating it and let's add the bridge. So stamp the large lily pad image on a scrap piece of Pretty Peacock cardstock using Pretty Peacock ink. Cut out the image with the coordinating die and adhere it to the bottom of the pocket. Stamp the small lily image on a piece of Grapefruit Grove cardstock using Grapefruit Grove ink. Cut out the image with the coordinating die and adhere it to the lily pad with a few dimensionals. Now go ahead and create the same type of bridge as you did with the first card and adhere it to the card just above that small lily that's sitting on that lily pad. Then for the finishing touch, embellish the bridge with a large lily image. Now one other little tip for you, if you want to make this card just like standard card size so that it fits in a regular envelope, so when this folds flat, if you want it to fold flat and be 4 1/4 by 5 1/2 inches, then instead of cutting your card base 5 1/2 inches wide, you're going to just cut it 4 1/4 inches wide. So your card base would be 4 1/4 by 8 inches, and that'll just shrink this down a little bit so that it'll be 5 1/2 by 4 1/4, and it'll fit into a regular size envelope. And so just in case you're wondering where these cards came from, these are just 2 additional designs. It's the exact same measurements. I just used different pattern papers and different colors to create these cards. Okay, so there you go. Now you have 2 different ways you can create a bridge fold card. And these are easy fun fold cards that you can create with any supplies you have on hand. Just get creative with it. And if you enjoyed these card ideas, feel free to download the printable tutorial. You can find the link in the description below this video. Thanks so much for joining me today. If you enjoyed this video, please let me know by liking it and sharing it with your friends. And leave me a comment below to let me know what you enjoyed most about the video and the cards shared here today. Have a fun and creative day, my friends. Take care.